My friends, there are wars, and then there are wars. If we're in the midst of one of those wars, then I am delighted. Howard Riell, Real Truth. From Sacramento, California, via Breitbart, California Governor Jerry Brown complained Wednesday that the Trump administration, quote, is basically going to war against the state of California, unquote, after Attorney General Jeff Sessions filed a lawsuit yesterday evening against California's sanctuary state laws. The lawsuit targets three laws in particular: the Immigration Worker Protection Act, the Inspection and Review of Facilities Housing Federal Detainees Law, and the California Values Act. The Trump administration argues that the California laws are unconstitutional under the Supremacy Clause, which states that federal law shall be the supreme law of the land. Sessions flew to Sacramento to mark the occasion with a speech Wednesday, that's today, to a meeting of the California Peace Officers Association, which had opposed SB 54. In his address, Sessions compared California's resistance to federal immigration law to the efforts of the Old South and the Confederacy to resist the Union. Quote, there is no nullification. There is no secession. Federal law is the supreme law of the land. I would invite any doubters to Gettysburg and to the graves of John C. Calhoun and Abraham Lincoln, Sessions said. Unquote. My friends, Jerry Brown, the governor of California, Governor Moonbeam, says so many things that are wrong, hilariously wrong, that when he finally stumbles upon something, I think it's noteworthy. America is going to war against California because California is an atrocity. It is a dystopian future that I pray to God America will avoid. When an entire state is so liberal, so loony, that they decide to shield criminals from law, from constitutional law, to put the interests of criminals ahead of the interests of law-abiding citizens, well then, yes, that is a righteous war and one that must be waged. I have hoped many times here on the air that California will decide to secede from the government. Believe me, it can only be good for America. But until that happens, what's good for America is for the federal government, in the person of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, to place its boot squarely on the neck of California. Hopefully the nimbles in that state will wake up to the fact that criminals need to be treated like criminals, and that law-abiding citizens need to be protected from criminals, and that the Constitution rules. And if the people who run California do not want to be jiggy, well then I invite them to exit laughing. We'll be right back.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Frighttown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Frighttown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228. Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play. If you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
And welcome to Real Truth, my friends. Howard Riell here. Now, people in the lie around the clock media, the sleazy fake news media, they want you to believe that there is chaos going on in the Trump administration. Untrue. Nothing could be further from the truth. Gary Cohn resigned yesterday. He'll be leaving sometime in the next week or two or three. That's not a sign of chaos. That's a sign of health. Here's Ann Coulter explaining why.
Ann Coulter, how you doing? You're not in New York, right?
Well, I figured it out, Ann. Don't worry about it. Gary Cohn leaving is not a sign of chaos, as she said. It's a sign of mental health. I also was not crazy about the fact that he tapped Cohn from Goldman Sachs to head up his economic advisory. But now Cohn is gone. And hopefully Trump will replace him with more of a populist economic expert so he can really get on track, get people who are loyal to the president and loyal to the American people, because nothing is more important. Let's take a break, and we will be back.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities is modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
The Lord makes the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. The people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
All right, guys, welcome back. Someone very wise once said that liberalism is a mental malady. It's a form of insanity. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, that was me. And you can see it in just about everything they do. Now, a few days ago, Trump was talking about Kim Jong-un in North Korea, and he was the fact that he's ruling the country, and he's never going to be deposed. And someone else, some other leader, had declared himself to be president. President Xi in China had declared himself to be president for life, and Trump made a joke. Hey, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Maybe we should do that. It was a joke. But it was all that liberals need to get back on their high horse and start puffing and huffing and screaming about dictatorship and totalitarianism and all that garbage, because liberals lack a sense of humor. Here to nail them for it is Laura Ingraham from Fox News.
The humorless, out of touch American left. That's the focus of tonight's
So, my friends, the question is this. Are liberals really this stupid? And do they really lack a sense of humor to this degree? Or, second possibility, do they know that Trump was kidding, but they think you are stupid enough to believe it if they say he wasn't? You think liberals in the media believe that you and I are brainless, unwashed masses who will simply believe whatever they say? Yes, they do. And that's why they say it. They know Trump was kidding. But they figure if they say he wasn't, that the low information voters, the stupid Americans out there, will believe them and vote against Trump. That's their gambit. And by the way, let's talk about Mika Brzezinski, all right, sitting next to Joe Scarborough. Mika Brzezinski, if the name Brzezinski sounds familiar, it should. Zbigniew Brzezinski was one of the big shots in the State Department. He was the National Security Advisor for Jimmy Carter, if you remember that. He's one of the kingmakers in the elite Bilderberg world of chess-playing kingmakers. And so, just by coincidence, his daughter got a plum job on television. It's spelled nepotism. By the way, just to correct this brainless bimbo on the Oscars who said that dreams are the basis of America, well, actually law. Adherence to law is the basics, is the bedrock of America. If she had completed second grade, she might have learned that.
Fictionalized people deserve to feel like they belong.
Because Americans know that Trump is fighting really for Americans. While the people in Hollywood look down on most Americans, wouldn't give them the sweat off their brow. The Hollywood crowd is sick. We've wasted enough time talking about them. Hopefully they and the state of California will just drift away towards Europe, where they'll really, really feel at home. Europe, or that would be the Far East. Either way, as long as they go, I'm for it. Item from InfoWars. Illegals in New Jersey flaunted their unlawful immigration statuses outside of ICE headquarters during protests Monday over the DACA Act. Newark police escorted a march of some 200 illegals and supporters from Rutgers University to the U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement Office as protesters carried signs reading, "We are the future of America. Pass the DREAM Act and stop racism now." Stop. My friends, I started the show yesterday saying that I had a stupid question to ask. Well, I've got another one. Remember, I'm from Brooklyn, so stupid questions is probably what I do best. I have a stupid question. If there were some 200 illegals gathered together outside ICE headquarters, why were they not arrested? They're loudly proclaiming the fact that they're here illegally. They're criminals. Where the hell was law enforcement? If I walked into a police precinct and said, "Hey, I just robbed the bank," I would be arrested, right? Why weren't these people arrested and deported? We have laws or we don't. You've got to pick one of those. If we have laws, they have to be enforced. In this case, the criminals came to law enforcement. They came to the ICE headquarters, and ICE was busy playing politics. So goes the union. We'll take a break, and Real Truth will return.
Taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood superfood for the brain. Helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has zero toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at bioage.com. Spelled BIOAGE.com, bioage.com, or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Some tailored capabilities that modify emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and beheld glory. The glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, folks, welcome back to Real Truth. Now, let's get something straight, all right? Let's have an understanding here. I never said that liberals are simpleton jackasses. Well, actually, I did say that. But there's a good reason why I said it. It's true. And here to prove that is some simpleton jackass named Kathy Aru, who came on the Tucker Carlson show recently. And, well, I don't want to spoil it for you. Here we go.
Canadian Prime Minister and relentless apology machine Justin Trudeau is visiting India right now.
My friends, here's the difference between Tucker Carlson and myself. First of all, he makes a hell of a lot more money than I do, especially since I don't get paid for doing this. Also, Tucker Carlson, he's on a big major network. He's got to be nice. He's got to be diplomatic. I would just call the woman an idiot, because it would be true, and be done with her. Tucker's nicer than I am.
Still offend dyslexics.
So this woman wants to eliminate man from common usage. Looking at her on this video, I have to tell you, I don't think getting rid of a man is a problem of hers.
Well, what if he lived in Manchester?
My friends, this chick has no clue that Tucker is making a fool of her in front of tens of millions of people. As a liberal, she is so obtuse, so deaf, dumb, and blind. She doesn't realize how stupid she is or how stupid she sounds. And so watching it, yeah, it's funny, but it's also kind of sad.
Back them up, and there you have it. They have a writing guide that now is going to teach us how to not offend.
But do you think they have the guts? I mean, it's one thing to bully the little rich kids who go to your school, because, like, what do they know? But do you think they have the guts?
This is the heart of America.
Yeah, no, of course. But if you're paying, like, 60 grand or whatever it is for, like, the fake diploma you get, you know, and you're not working, obviously you have privilege by definition, no matter who's paying for it. But but it's easy to boss them around. Do you think they would have the guts to go to Goldman Sachs in New York and say, change your name now or else?
They probably wouldn't shop there. Because
what if they were shopping at Goldman Sachs? They might come up because it's a bank.
Because the name man is adult male, and yeah, we need to.
So this chick doesn't know that Goldman Sachs is a bank. She thinks it's Saks Fifth Avenue. Typical liberal.
Like woman. I mean, has the word man in there, so just call us a person.
So gold person Sachs, would that be better?
I think so. I'm less offended. Yes.
And by the way, what if you just, since the rule is if you spell, and I'll stop with this because I know this is angel on the head of a pin at this point, but if you spelled man differently, like M-A-A, so it was male man, but M-A-A-N.
No, the profession, we know that the professions usually were male dominated and they've changed. So no, saying male man and spelling it differently, that doesn't apply. We're trying to say this profession now applies for men and women or persons, all people. No man needed.
Isn't there a man in the word woman?
call me a person. I'd be less offended. No need for woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the end, the revolution always eats itself, as we often point out. Kathy, thank you for that guided tour of the linear regions. Appreciate it.
Yeah, the revolution eats itself. I'm waiting for her and other liberals to be consumed. Item from the Associated Press. Russia's President Vladimir Putin had more words of praise for U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday, but added that he was sorely disappointed with the U.S. political system, saying that it had been, quote, eating itself up, unquote. My friends, Vladimir Putin speaks the truth. Our politicians are so corrupt, so lazy, so determined to protect the swamp from Donald Trump that they are eating their own, cowering in the darkness, getting nothing accomplished in Congress, very little except what Trump has pushed them to do. And now they're turning on each other now that the presidential election of 2020 is starting to be talked about. Who am I pulling for on both sides of the liberal battle? I'm pulling for both sides. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, Congressman here. Well, it had to happen. Colorado legalized marijuana. Most people thought the Green Earth was a marijuana dispensary. Also, it was legalized on January the 1st, 2014. The same day we opened our new location at 4565 Kemper Street, 1.5 blocks south of I-7. There are 83,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Kemper Street, and most of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So we changed the name of our retail store to New Genesis Health, but we kept the name of our Green Earth supplements. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372. And be sure to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with Mr. Phillips every Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
It's such a 24-hour Walmart supercenter. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, and courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send the military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the Associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Jordan Peterson is a Canadian clinical psychologist and professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. Here he is talking about the delusions of leftist political activism. He's being interviewed, and he's a bright guy. Let's see what he has to say. And in the wake of the Parkland school shooting a couple of weeks ago, all you saw on television was interviews with students getting their thoughts on how we can decrease gun violence. Like students have a clue. They were all saying, well, we got to take guns out of people's hands, but that won't solve anything. In fact, it would make things worse. So sympathize with kids, comfort kids, counsel kids, absolutely. Take serious advice on serious issues from children? No, thank you. I'd rather take them from liberals. Well, not really. I'd rather hear them from children. We'll take a break and we'll be back, my friends. Real Truth will continue.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or 4 nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, memory, and food. If you improve brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has zero toxicity and is for you in advance. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. Spelled BioAge.com. BioAge.com. Or call 877-288-9116. 877-288-9116. BioAge. It's the best organic.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16.
We use the blocker plan as a reminder that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. As promoted with the blocker plan located at 366 Grant Street in Woodford, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HD and complete custom process. Call for River Police at 2240. That's for the police at 2240.
Now, my friends, you know what liberals want? They want America to be just like Europe. So let's see what the hell's going on in Europe. Item from The Independent. A man has been convicted of sexism in a public place for the first time under a new law in Belgium. A court in Brussels fined him 3,000 euros for insulting a police officer because of her gender, Le Soir reported. It comes as France prepares to create an offense of street harassment described as sexist and sexual outrage, unquote. So if you say anything sexist in Europe, now it's a crime. Item from the BBC. France plans to fix the legal age of sexual consent at 15, meaning sex with someone younger than that would be considered rape. Currently, prosecutors must prove sex with someone under 15 was forced in order to bring rape charges. The change comes amid uproar over 2 recent cases of men accused of having sex with 11-year-old girls. Under the existing legislation, if there's no violence or coercion proved, offenders may only be charged with sexual abuse of a minor and not rape. My friends, you sure you want to be more like Europe? Item from the local France. A man was attacked with a machete and reportedly scalped as he ate dinner with his wife at an Indian restaurant in Paris Monday night. Diners at an Indian restaurant in the 10th arrondissement of the French capital witnessed the shocking scene on Monday night with a man who was also eating at the restaurant was attacked and reportedly scalped at his table. The incident, which took place at the restaurant 830 on Rue Riell, a street well known for its curry residents, saw 2 men whose faces were covered by hoods burst into the restaurant armed with a sword and a machete, according to French press reports, unquote. Item from InfoWars, staying in Europe, a resident of a tiny Irish town having its population increased by a third by a new migrant center has said Ireland has become, quote, a slave state of the European Union and its immigration policies leaving locals helpless. We don't know where these people are going to be from. They won't tell us what countries they're from, what religion they're from, said Michael Walsh. He said the 300-strong rural community of Lisdoonvarna could be radically changed by such a large and sudden influx, and that many concerned locals were fearful of accusations of racism if they questioned it. They just proposed to expand the population of this little village by what? 25%? 33% annually, he exclaimed in an interview with Breitbart News editor-in-chief Alex Marlow on Breitbart Newsday on Sirius XM. From Germany, InfoWars, isolated cases of abuse and discord by migrants in Berlin are becoming all too familiar to Germans, with one school official even admitting, quote, we're heading towards the Middle Ages. For example, German media is now forced to report on the fact that young women are called obscene names by foreign nationals for not wearing a headscarf or daring to wear a bikini. Furthermore, a 60-year-old woman was solicited for sex by a young Arab while she was walking with her husband in a park. I no longer feel safe in this city. Something is out of joint here, said a longtime resident. Intense anxiety is now an everyday part of life due to the influx of Islamic migrants. Unquote. My friends, just wait. Intense anxiety is going to become an everyday part of life here in the United States. As long as we keep immigrating, as long as we keep accepting immigrants from third world countries, especially in the Arab Middle East and Muslim countries in Africa, you can expect that you and your wife and your mother and your daughters will be verbally harassed, if not attacked, beaten, raped, murdered, because after all, that's better than being called a racist, right? I'll see you tomorrow, my friends. More real truth then. Hasta luego.